My stepson asked if he could start calling me dad, and this made my wife's ex-husband furious. Okay, so I, 34 male, married the woman of my dreams last month, 44 female, and she has a 16-year-old son from her prior marriage. I've been in his life, and he's been in mine for 4 years, and I've done my best to be there for him as a friend and trustworthy adult, and he's a really, really great kid. I felt closer to him than I did any of my brothers, and I could see he looked up to me and trusted me. One more important thing, he's on the autism spectrum. I swear that's relevant. My wife and I went on our honeymoon for 2 weeks, and then we came back on Friday. And my stepson came up to me and asked if we could talk, and he told me no one had ever been as considerate as I was learning how to make foods in the exact way he liked them or being patient with his poor emotional regulation. His words, I think he's doing great, and he told me I overall was his favorite person in his life. So he asked if it was okay to call me dad. This really, really caught me off guard, and I stopped for a moment to process it. And he got embarrassed and told me he was sorry, and it was stupid. But I told him it wasn't stupid because I would love that. He got super excited and hugged me, and it was lovely. I was telling my wife about it later, and it suddenly sank in that I had become somebody's dad. I just stopped, and I told her I'm someone's dad, and she asked me if I felt like I was in the delivery room. I laughed at that, but I got so emotionally overwhelmed. I started crying. This morning, he came downstairs and said, "Hey, Dad." And it's going to take some getting used to, but holy crap. That was a great feeling. I still don't believe I've earned the title, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to try my best. So it seems last month I got a wife and a son too. Pretty good deal if you ask me. Update, so I recently made a post talking about how my stepson asked to call me dad, and it made me really happy. My wife has 2 children from her previous marriage, a 16-year-old autistic son and a 26-year-old son. When they divorced, her ex-husband advocated for custody of the older son. It sounds like it was because he was more independent and less work, and she got the youngest one. As a result, her younger son always felt kind of unloved by his dad and doesn't go too far out of his way to talk to him. So the older son finally got a job in his field that he's been fighting for a few years, and he wanted to have a dinner with the family. He seems like a nice guy from the times I've interacted with him, but his dad seems passive-aggressive and unkind. We all got to the restaurant and sat down, and it was pretty nice and civil. I was sitting next to my stepson, and he was a little overwhelmed because he hadn't been to the restaurant before and didn't know what to order. So we were looking at the menu, and I pointed out a type of pasta that looks similar to something we make at home that he likes. He said you can check P2 by pressing share then more. My stepson asked if he could start calling me dad, and this made my wife's ex-husband furious. Part 2. He said, "Thanks, Dad." And I guess he said it loud enough that his biological dad heard because he literally stopped everything and asked, "What did you just say?" My wife and I tried to defuse the situation, but he was very agitated by it and actually asked why he did it. Their older son stepped in and asked if he could tell his dad about his new job, and that got him to move on finally. My stepson didn't say much for the rest of the evening, but on the way home, he tried to apologize for ruining the evening, to which we told him he didn't. Then if this wasn't bad enough, both he and my wife received a 4-paragraph long message talking about how disrespectful and shocking it was that he called another man dad and how he was very disturbed by it. My wife is just in disbelief and feels horrible for our son. She went to talk to him, and he didn't say much, but he clearly thinks this is all his fault. If anything, it's my fault for not discussing how he should refer to me at the dinner with my wife and then discussing it with him beforehand. I just freaking hate that this man is upsetting him so much, and I see why my wife divorced him. Thank you for reading. Small update, so the day after the incident, my stepson came over to me and told me his older brother texted him and asked if he could read the text out loud. I just nodded and said definitely, but on the inside, my eyes rolled to the back of my head like, Jesus Christ, here we go. However, his brother sent him a very, very lovely and thoughtful message saying he felt bad about what happened the night before and was sorry the two of them haven't been talking much lately and asked if he wanted to try to be brothers again. Then he asked him what movies he's seen lately, and movies are his special interest, so that meant a lot to him. Not gonna lie, I was caught off guard by his sincerity and kindness. It was very, very sweet. Then later that day, I got a text message from his older brother, whom I assume got my number from my younger stepson, and he said he wanted to get to know me better since I am legally his stepdad now, and I'm the man his baby brother is calling dad, so he definitely wanted to try to get to know each other. He also mentioned that he didn't get to celebrate his brother's 16th birthday with him and felt that was a really big deal and asked if the 3 of us could get dinner and see a movie. Tonight, the 3 of us went out and saw a movie and got dinner by ourselves. My younger stepson picked the movie and he loved it, but my older stepson and I didn't get it. But all that matters is that he liked it. Then we sat down and had dinner together and had a very, very nice time. Then on the way out, my younger stepson asked if he could run into the store next to the restaurant to buy something really quick, in and out. So we said all right. While he was in the store, my older stepson told me he wanted me to know he misjudged me and watching the 2 of us interact both at the dinner the other night and tonight. Me going through the menu with him to find something he'd like, me advocating for him when their father got upset, and how he clearly feels comfortable talking around me, and that he completely understands why I'm now dad to him. All feels comfortable talking around me, and that he completely understands why I'm now dad to him. All in all, a pretty great night. After I got home, I saw he sent me a text related to something we talked about. So looks like we're gonna be talking now. Still got some stuff to work out with his biological dad, but we'll take this as a victory. Anyway, yeah. I just figured I'd share something positive since there's a lot of negativity on Reddit and with my current situation, so I figured I'd share a positive update.